Let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah. I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby. It's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get the paper, boy.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Jesus, we got Andrew, we got Michael in the chat. What's up, y'all? Appreciate y'all for being here. We're going to obviously talk about a lot of Arizona Cardinals news that ended up dropping today. Now, yes, there was a most recent video that was posted probably about 20 minutes ago. Biggest reason as to why there is a double down. Couple different reasons why. One, for those videos specifically, there's a certain group of people that only want the information, and they just want the information. They don't want to hear anything else. Just that's all they want. And then for the other people, like my guy Andrew, Jesus, and Michael in the chat, they want to get a little bit deeper, right? They want to get a little bit deeper and involved in the conversation, and that's why we are opening it up here today. But huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. If you could do me a huge favor, smack up the like button on your way in. And let me give a huge shout out here to the sponsors of the Arizona Sports Fan here on YouTube, and that's going to be BetUS. If you're looking for a brand new sports book, BetUS is the way to go. Currently, right now, if you use promo code YouTube150, they will provide you with a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and a 125% sign-up bonus on the following two, using promo code YouTube150 upon signing up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go and get started here. Let's talk about what's currently going on with our Arizona Cardinals. And right now, we got a lot of Cardinal fans that are either on the train and they think this Cardinals organization is going to get it right. And there's another portion of this Cardinals fan base that doesn't feel like the Arizona Cardinals are going to get it right. And it's just a downward slope, right? The only thing we could do at this very moment is obviously wait out the 2024 season. Let's go week by week. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. And I know there's been a lot of comments I've been seeing since the beginning of the season saying, hey, relax, right? Because let's call it like it is, right? I'm one of those fans that week by week, you can either be very, very high or very, very low. When it comes down to this Arizona Cardinals organization, you're going to see losses and hopefully you're going to see some wins sprinkled in. Now, I'm still hoping for 7, 8 would be more idealistic for me as a Cardinal fan in terms of progression. But of course, 5, 6, 7 wins are progressing from year one of Jonathan Gannon. Although some people might not like it, I understand what this Arizona Cardinals organization is and how they've been operating, right? Because the Arizona Cardinals, as long as they see progress, that's all they care about. They don't care how it comes about. They don't care if it's ugly. They don't care as long as the numbers show that they're progressing, that's all they care about. So, all we can do right now, Cardinal fans, is obviously wait it out and see what happens. Do you still have faith? I mean, there's some people out there that still have faith. Now, with the information that we got today, it doesn't help. The information that dropped today, now there was some good stuff that came out today from Jonathan Gannon, but there were some things that I already knew of yesterday, but because I took Wednesday off and didn't think there was going to be much news, I'm trying to play catch up, right? I'm trying to play catch up. That's why there was a video posted about 20 minutes before this live stream, if you're asking yourself. So let's do a real quick recap. The Arizona Cardinals right now are finding themselves with injuries, right? It's never seemed to be a situation where it's let up for the Cardinals, right? Now let's talk about some positivities first, right? Let's talk about some positivities. Jonah Williams. When Jonathan Gannon was asked about can we potentially see Jonah Williams this year, he was actually pretty positive. And if you do not know, Ian Rappaport actually came out with a post about it as well. You don't really see very much information or, any posts from Arizona Cardinals when it comes down to these big guys, right? The big dogs out there like Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, unless it's like breaking news. Now, to me, this is pretty good news, right? This is definitely pretty good news for the Cardinals moving forward because, like I said, we're going through the ringer when it comes down to injuries. So right now, there was a post coming out here from Ian Rappaport that pretty much summarizes what Jonathan Gannon said, and he says this: right tackle Jonah Williams is likely to return this season. His status has been up in the air, and that it has been. I don't know why Jonathan Gannon, speaks in riddles. I guess I understand why. He doesn't like to speak in hypotheticals, right? He says it all the time. Whenever anybody asks a question about any injured player, he says hypotheticals. He wants to make sure that everything is absolutely correct before he provides that information. And honestly, at the end of the day, I don't blame him for the stance that he has. But that's good news, right? Definitely good news and a step in the right direction. Jonah Williams, potentially we're going to see him here in the 2024 season. Hallelujah, we get something good coming for us. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. It looks like he's trending in the right direction. It is also good that we have an extra day, but as of right now, he's not fully cleared concussion protocol. I think he's still out there in a limited fashion, but he has been seen in practice. So those are the highlights, right? Those are the good things that we've heard. Darius Robinson still up in the air. It doesn't really seem like we have too much on him other than the fact that obviously the 21-day window is still currently ticking. But if you guys do not know, Darius Robinson actually made a post yesterday on his personal Twitter, and it seemed like he had a loss in his family. I think his mother unfortunately passed away, so there might be that he's dealing with as well. And I think obviously the Cardinals are fully aware of that as well. So obviously prayers up to Darius Robinson's mom and his family, and condolences, right? So that might, you know, maybe make it a little longer for a debut when it comes down to Darius. Still up in the air. We don't 100% know when it comes down to Darius Robinson. We'll see what happens there. Matt Prater. Man, I know. I'm just going down a receipt. I'm going down a receipt here, ladies and gentlemen. Just bear with me. Matt Prater on IR. It's weird because it seemed like there was a step in the right direction with Matt Prater. But Matt Prater, as of right now, on IR, it's not season ending or anything like that. So that's good news. But he's on IR. We're not going to have him for 4 games, at least 4 games. But I like what I've seen from Chad Ryland. And I think this is a good time to see what this young kid can do, because it's going to be a big question heading into the offseason, right? When it comes down to our kicker. Are the Arizona Cardinals going to go a different route? Are we going to go younger when it comes down to the kicker? And right now we like what we've seen from Chad Ryland. So we're going to see a good 4-game sample size. And hopefully he steps up to the plate. Because you never know. Matt Prater might contemplate retirement, right? And then we're out a kicker, right? So I like that we're taking these precautions. Do I think, Matt Prater is hurt? I mean, obviously he landed himself on the IR. So yeah, I think he's hurt to a sense. So there's that. But like I said, if there is a light at the end of the tunnel, is the fact that Chad Ryland is most likely going to step up, and we're going to see exactly what happens there, right? Now, the big one. Yes, I know, the big one. Okay, now we already knew this yesterday, and I mean we by me. I wasn't able to post it because obviously I took yesterday off. Still trying to play catch up, but for the people that don't know out there was word that another big time signing for Monty Austin this offseason, and that's going to be none other than Bilal Nichols, is on season-ending injury, and he's not going to play in the 2024 season per Jonathan Gannon. Now, we are down Bilal Nichols, we're down Justin Jones. Both of them landed themselves on season-ending IR. Very, very unfortunate. And I mean very, very unfortunate. These moves that were made in the free agency market, a lot of Cardinal fans right now are pretty upset with us not making big moves, right? But I mean, like, these were big moves compared to what we had on the roster, right? Now, I know there are going to be people coming after me saying, you said these guys were good. You said these guys were going to be run stuffers. You said they were going to be Iron Man. Well, that's what we were sold to. That's what we thought as well. We thought that, the main thing that we're seeing in terms of new players that were coming into the 2024 Arizona Cardinals was they were sold to us as Iron Man, right? We never thought that they're going to have double-digit sacks, but we also didn't think that they were going to be gone heading into week 7 of the NFL season. We can't, unfortunately, predict injuries. It's very unfortunate that when these players drink the water here in Arizona, their injuries start piling up. Very, very unfortunate, but that's definitely not something that Cardinals can control. Now, could the Cardinals chosen different players? Yeah, of course they could have, right? Absolutely. They definitely could have. It's just right now with what we're seeing of Monty Austin and how he's treated these off seasons. And you can't really judge too much on the first off season, but this off season, he's very, very conservative. And I think that's the nice way to put it. He's very, very conservative. And I don't know if that's because he doesn't believe in this team. I don't know if he doesn't think that this team is going to go far. I don't know, right? We're only speaking to speculations at this very moment. But it is weird to hear our offensive side of the ball, right? Especially Kyler Murray saying things like bet the over, right? And he's not going to put any limits on this offense. And then we're struggling, right? It's very, very odd and very, very weird. So we are here, right? That's the best thing I can say. We're here in this situation. So what are the Cardinals going to do, right? How are they going to overcome these injuries? Because Jonathan Gannon was asked about that today. How are we going to overcome these injuries that the Cardinals are dealing with so early in the season, right? And of course, we heard Jonathan Gannon come out and says he has full confidence in the players that we have in this locker room. Now, I know you're sitting back and you're asking yourself, oh my God, here we go again, right? What do you expect him to say? At the end of the day, what do you expect Jonathan Gannon to say, right? He's provided these players and he has to make do with who he has. Now, I only hope that these private meetings that we're not privy to, right? Fans, media, everybody that's within the Arizona Cardinals organization, the only people that know is Jonathan Gannon and Monty Ossenfort. I only hope and pray that they are having conversations about potentially making this defensive line better, right? Because we mentioned this in a prior podcast, is I do feel like the offense can't make a mistake. They can't have a bad stretch of games because this defense is not going to bail you out, right? This defense is not going to bail you out. Now, the same thing goes for this defense. The defense can't make mistakes either because they can't bail themselves out either. We are seeing an inconsistent 2024 Arizona Cardinals team defensively and offensively. And it's very unfortunate that us Cardinal fans, players within the locker room, the coaching staff right now, the way that they respond is very, very nonchalant. But they're nonchalant because a couple different reasons, right? They probably think that they can get it fixed, or B, they're trying to keep order within this locker room, right? But it's not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. It really isn't. The Cardinals are down bad when it comes down to these injuries. These are big, big time injuries, right? And I get it. Bilal Nichols, Justin Jones, they weren't giving you production on the stat sheet, but they were starters. They were starters on this roster that we didn't have to worry about, oh man, who are we going to try to replace, right? As of right now, where the Arizona Cardinals stand is LJ Collier, Naquan Jones, Roy Lopez, and Kyrie's Tunga, right? Dante Stills. We're talking about a 4th round pick and Dante Stills. Roy Lopez, I don't even know where he was even picked. I'm not going to lie to you. Naquan Jones, he was with the Cardinals last year, got cut, came back, went through waivers, nobody wanted him. And then LJ Collier, right? Former 1st round pick of the Seattle Seahawks. And it's a really, really weird spot to be in because we hear this coaching staff very, very confident about how they can combat these injuries. But then I look at it and I'm like, oh man, SOS. Where's my SOS button? But like I said, it's one of those things where it's wait and see, right? It's wait and see. Every play is very crucial. None of these guys can make a mistake because if they do make a mistake, then we're going to be finding ourselves in a situation where this defense can look as bad as they did against the Green Bay Packers. Or they can look as good as they did in the second half versus the Lions or the second half versus the 49ers, right? That's what I'm saying. The constant of this team is inconsistencies. We don't know what we got going on. But one thing that we do got going on, a lot of the players that we brought in free agency either are not being greatly productive or we haven't seen them yet, or they landed themselves on IR or have a long stint of time being injured, right? So I like the fact that, Jonathan Gannon is treating this like that meme where that dog is sitting in that fiery room and he's like, it's okay, right? It's all okay. We're fine, right? He's kind of treating the season like that, right? But it's not Jonathan Gannon's job to go out there and try to bring in players, right? Now, I want to bring in one other thing before we move on this injury bug situation that we got currently going on, ladies and gentlemen. The Cardinals did make a move. And now I didn't put this on my latest video because I'm kind of tired of making a video about players that we probably aren't going to see on the field or finding themselves in the practice squad. But that is what the Cardinals have been doing. Whenever moves have been made, it's names that I have to look up and say, who is this guy? There was another move made on October the 15th, which was Tuesday of this week. Tom Pelissero reports, former Patriots third-round pick linebacker Ronnie Perkins is signing with the Arizona Cardinals practice squad per source. So, for what it's worth, could I have made a video and put some highlight film over it and then say, oh, here we go, the Cardinals are making moves? Yeah, I could have, right? I chose not to because as a fan, I'm kind of tired of it. I'm kind of tired of we're making moves, but also me providing excuses for what this front office has done, right? And it's little to nothing, right? We're only 6 weeks in. That's the truth. Can this season be salvageable? Yes, they can. But like I've said before, right? The Cardinals are signing linebacker Ronnie Perkins. And I've already seen the people in the chat. Who? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. But practice squad, are the Cardinals making moves? Yes, they are. Are they going to be big, impactful moves? I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys. But one thing that we do know is that the Cardinals are going through the ringer when it comes down to the trenches and just trying to be able to stay healthy throughout this year in general. So let me give a shout out to my guy, Cardinals Opinion, with the first super chat of the day. Appreciate you, Cardinals Opinion. He says this: when can we start having a winning season? It's a good question. It's a good question. When can we start having a winning season? When this front office decides to spend money. When Michael Bidwell decides to spend money. That's when we can. Because this last offseason, when we made a video about the free agency, but the day before, I made a video about it, and I still remember to the day, because it was John Gambadoro of 98.7 saying, look out, Cardinals fans. Don't get too excited. The Cardinals are going to sign mid-tier players. And honestly, mid-tier players didn't seem like a bad thing because the Cardinals roster was so depleted that anybody was an upgrade, right? But now, 6 weeks into the season, it's not great. Now, one other factor. The Cardinals organization is going to continue to do what they do as long as the fans allow it. I'm not going to elaborate on that. If you guys have been rocking with my channel for a very, very long time, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to elaborate, but as long as the Arizona Cardinals fandom, fan base continues to use the words rebuild, year 2, and using that every other year or every 2 or 3 or 4 years, the Cardinals will continue to do the same things over and over and over again. That's all I will say on that. If you push this team and put fire on this organization, there might be some differences. But unfortunately, we don't have a fan base that is like that, unfortunately. So we got to deal with a billionaire that's not very good with money, not very money savvy for being a billionaire. I don't know. Like I said, I'll leave it at that. You might know what I'm talking about if you've been rocking with me for quite some time. But going back to your question, when are the Arizona Cardinals going to have a winning season? When the Cardinals start to spend the money appropriately. That's when. Let's move on over to this thing here real quick, because I've already heard this, ladies and gentlemen. Already started to hear this. I want to get your guys' opinions on what's currently going on with the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know if you guys heard, but there's a lot of rumors right now. Of course, you see a lot of fan bases looking around as to who are the struggling teams in the 2024 season, and of course, one of the teams are our very own Arizona Cardinals. Let's talk about this, shall we? This is not a topic I want to talk about. This is not a topic that I'm comfortable talking about. I don't want to be in this situation, but we gotta call it like it is. The trade deadline is coming less than 3 weeks away. Yes, less than 3 weeks away. The trade deadline's coming around. Now, Budda Baker has always been a name that's been thrown out there because guess what? Budda Baker at one point requested a trade because of a contract negotiation. Now, obviously, he's such a pro, he's such a good person that he's actually played in 2024 with no backlash, with saying nothing negative, right? Keeping everything in-house. Now, whether he's had a conversation with Monty, is he just, we don't know. But what we do know is that Budda Baker is a all-pro, right? Classy guy that he's not going to let anything leak out, which that's exactly what should be. So here's the question to you, chat. Are the Arizona Cardinals in a situation where if they lose on Monday Night Football, now that's an if, right? If the Cardinals win, then we're 3-4. And it's not quite 100% bad. But like I said, less than 3 weeks away. So the Cardinals need to make a decision. Are they going to sell? Because Budda's not the only player that they can get off their roster, right? He's not the only one. Is he the most valuable? Probably. Yeah, probably. But there's also James Conner that could potentially get traded. We talked about that last year as well. I'm actually very shocked and surprised that the Cardinals didn't move off of James Conner last year when we were having such a bad season. Probably because of injuries. That's probably what happened. But Budda Baker, again, to the day, is still being floated around with the idea of maybe the Cardinals could potentially trade him away. I know there's a lot of teams that would love the services of a Budda Baker. I've been hearing the Texans. I've been hearing the Bills. I've been hearing any team that has any potential to, make some sort of push in potentially wants Budda, right? Now, big question. Are the Cardinals going to be sellers, right? Now, I think this Monday Night Football game is going to be very, very telling. We can hear all the positivity, all we want from Jonathan Gannon, right? About him trying to get this ship corrected, focusing on the details. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a roster the way the Arizona Cardinals roster looks like, details are important, you're right, but talent is more important, right? To be able to beat your man in front of you is more important than details, right? Details are important. Don't get it twisted. They are. I'm not sitting here and saying don't believe in Jonathan Gannon because he's telling you correct. It's important. The details are important. But talent, being able to beat the man in front of you, being able to cause pressure on a consistent basis is much more important. And if you look at the Arizona Cardinals roster right now, with all the injuries that we're having on this young 2024 season, and there's not a lot of confidence. There's not a lot of confidence, right? So, Budda, definitely a name out there. And I've said this before, too. It's so weird because the Cardinals almost kind of seem like, yeah, we're rebuilding, but they also kind of half ASS'd it. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to say it because I'm not trying to get demonetized here on YouTube, but they kind of half ASS'd it. Like, truly. Like, we still have players like Budda. We still have players like James Conner, right? Like, yeah, I guess you can call it a rebuild, but like, I don't know. It's just weird. You got players here that obviously want to win. And we're treating this, especially with the players that we're bringing in to practice squad, practice squad. It doesn't help Budda. It doesn't help James Conner. It doesn't help Kyler Murray to try to win. It doesn't, right? Right now, looking at the Arizona Cardinals roster, Kazir White is still listed as questionable. I like him. I really do. He currently right now is practicing. Last I looked, Sean Murphy Bunting, which is supposed to be one of our top signings, right, in the cornerback position, struggled mightily, and I mean mightily, versus the Green Bay Packers. Had a couple plays here and there, but struggled, right? The Cardinals don't have it. We don't have the players. Like, I don't know what JG's smoking. I really don't. I really don't. I want to be confident. I really do. I just don't see it. Like, we got to play perfect football. The Cardinals need to play a perfect game in order for us to win games. Perfect. And looking at this roster with the injuries that we've gotten so far, you can't make a mistake because the other team will get you. The other team will get you good. Let's see what the Arizona Cardinals decide to do. So question, are the Cardinals going to be sellers in the trade deadline? Let's see what you guys are saying here in the chat. We got my guy Cardinals Opinion saying keep Buda Baker. We got my guy Panda saying sell, baby, sell. Brandon saying casitas and candy burritos. It's fair. Richie says JG's just doing what he's paid to do. Exactly. 100%. I don't blame JG. I really don't. I don't know what Michael Bidwell is thinking. I don't know if this is all part of the plan. Because obviously, right? I mean, I don't think the Cardinals don't want to win. The Cardinals want to win, right? JG doesn't want to keep losing, obviously, right? That's his number one thing that he's thinking right now. And you could tell by the press conference that he was just on. His main focus right now is how he can make more wins for the 2024 Arizona Cardinals. He wants to win. But if you got a roster the way that you got the roster, because of the front office not bringing in talent, but focusing on the players that we're looking for, the high character value guys, but they can't stay healthy, then we're just right back at square zero. Me personally, I've tried to get behind Monty Ossenfort. I really, really have. I've tried to get behind Monty Ossenfort and saying things like allow him to cook, right? And so far, the draft has looked decent. I like his draft picks. Free agency has been a whiff. The trades has been a whiff. Isaiah Simmons, I understood why he left. I get it. Is he still getting burnt like burnt toast? Yes, he is. But the value, man, the trades are not making sense, right? Now, we got rid of Rondo Moore for Desmond Ridder. Rondo Moore got hurt. He's done for the season. Desmond Ridder is no longer with the Arizona Cardinals. There's just things that seem to kind of always backfire on us, right? Because if we at least had a backup quarterback, we could say, oh, okay, well, at least we got a backup quarterback out of it, right? But we don't know what Rondo Moore is going to turn out to. I never had the high confidence in him personally. I was one of the first to call him Andy Isabella 2.0. A lot of people didn't like that, but it's kind of the truth. It's not his fault he got injured. Facts. You're right in there. I don't want him to get injured, but I just never thought he was going to be a good wide receiver for the Cardinals. The value that we're getting back in trades is not there. The free agency market class that we've gotten picked up for the Cardinals isn't there. And now we're a 2-win team. So the Cardinals right now, with the remaining of their roster, I apologize. The remaining of their schedule, what do we got going on right now for us? Let me know where you guys see a win. Let me know. So I'm gonna focus on the next four, right? The next four teams right now. Cardinals got the Chargers, Dolphins, Bears, and Jets. If there is any chance for the Cardinals, and I mean any chance for us to be able to breathe and to put our heads above water, it's in this 4-game stretch right here. I'm not saying the Cardinals need to go 4-0. Not saying that. Not saying one bit that the Cardinals need to go 4-0. But what are your guys' thoughts? Chargers, Dolphins, Bears, and Jets. What do you see? Do you see WWWW or do you see LWLW? What do you think we're going to do? You think we're going to go 2-2, 3-1, 0-4? What do you think is going to happen in that stretch? Because I think that this stretch right here is probably going to be the season for the Cardinals. Because yes, you could still fight, right? You could still fight. You could potentially still beat the Panthers. You can beat the Patriots, which is the last 4 weeks of the season, right? You can beat those teams. But you're kind of fighting for draft position, I guess, right? At that very moment, the season comes down to these next 4 games. If the Cardinals can somehow, and I don't know if I believe it, go 3-1, then we're back, right? We're back. If the Cardinals can't, and we're constantly having L's instead of W's in the column, these next 4 games are going to be very, very crucial. So my question to you is, what's going to happen in that 4-game sample size? We got my guy Andrew in the chat saying loss, W, loss. So that means going 1-3. Michael saying Miami's the only win. Okay. Elias saying 1-3. Michael saying 1-4. He's just throwing an extra one out there just to add salt to the injury. All right, here we go. Cardinals opinion with the 2-2. Jesus says depends who's starting for the Dolphins. That's fair. That's fair. Keep Buddha trade Bidwell. I hope we can. It doesn't. I see no 3-1s in this chat. I see no. I see no confidence. But I mean, I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit at all. 1-3 if Tua comes or starts 0-4. That's wild. But that's the thing, right? This is the confidence that we're lacking, Cardinal fans. And I'm not blaming you for not having confidence, because honestly, the confident level for me right now is pretty low. There's some Cardinal fans out there that are hanging on the fact that Kyler Murray is going to get it right. Hopefully he can get it right. Fingers crossed. I want to see a consistent Kyler Murray. That's what I'm looking for. Consistency is key to me. That's what I'm looking for. Here we go. We got one positivity in the air. We got my guy Wee Champa says 2-2. Okay. 2-2 will put us at 4-6. 4-6. Man, that not very good either. But I mean, I guess we'll take the 2 W's there, right? I guess we'll take the 2 W's there. Monday Night Football is going to be crucial. It's going to be absolutely crucial. And how the Cardinals either win or lose. If the Cardinals lose by another blowout, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, this Chargers team has not allowed any team to score more than 20 points on them. Their defense is actually pretty good. Like, looking at what they've done, and currently right now, they're second in their division right now. They're 3-2, and they're second in their division. They're on top of the Broncos, and they're on top of those Raiders that the Raiders can't seem to get anything right? They're at the second spot in their division, of course, with the Chiefs being number 1 at 5-0. Looking at what the Chargers have accomplished so far, who have they played so far? The Chargers has played, let's go ahead and take a look here. Chargers has played the Raiders. Okay, easy dub for them, 22-10. They played the Panthers. Okay, that's a nice easy stretch right there. They started off 2-0, good for them. Then the Steelers, they have a good defense. So 20-10, they lose there. They lose to the Chiefs. 7 points difference. They beat the Broncos, and now they got the Cardinals coming their way. None of these teams, this Chargers defense allowed more than 20 points. None of these teams. The Steelers were at 20. The Chiefs were at 17. Panthers were at 3. The Raiders were at 10. None of these teams, they allowed that. Now, here's the thing, right? If you're asking yourself, okay, well, why does that matter? It matters because if the Arizona Cardinals offense can't get going and they find themselves down at 24-0 or 24-3 in a blink of an eye, do you have confidence that this Arizona Cardinals offense is going to be able to get right with the inconsistencies that we've seen? I mean, of course, week to week, anything can turn around. Yeah, maybe the Cardinals might be able to drop 28 on them. Maybe. But we're living in a world of hypotheticals at that very moment. This defense over there is actually pretty darn good. This offense needs to play perfect football. Perfect football. It's at home. Who's going? Who's going to Chargers versus Cardinals? Let me know in the chat. Who's going to Cardinals versus Chargers? Let me know in the chat. I don't know if anybody's got confidence. There's some. I don't know if anybody does, though. That this defense is actually pretty darn good. And imagine if Bosa comes back. And I mean Joey Bosa. Obviously not Nick. Joey Bosa comes back. Yeah, it could be scary. Andrew, what's up, Andrew? Appreciate the $2 donations. He says this: Chargers defense is too much for our offense. Wow. I mean, this defense looks pretty good, and that's without a big dosage of Joey Bosa. So the Cardinals, in order for them to get this win on Monday Night Football, I want to ask, and that means all the lights, that means all the eyes are going to be on you on Monday night. Well, there is a doubleheader. If you guys do not know, there's another game on Monday Night Football as well. There's 2 Monday Night Football games. Makes sense, right? The one primetime game we get, we got to split it. So I guess it's not going to be too bad. But for the most part, national media, national eyes will be on the Cardinals. So what does this mean? What does this mean? Do the Cardinals need to win? 110% they need to win this game. 110% they need to win this game. If they find themselves at 2-5 with 2 weeks into the trade deadline, the conversation is going to be shifted. The conversation is going to be shifted until, okay, who can the Cardinals potentially get off? And of course, I got my guy Budda Baker right here, and I don't want to get rid of him. I think he's one of the best guys we have on the defense, but business decisions are business decisions. Chargers are going to be an absolute tough team. A tough team. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Football is a week-to-week game. Yeah, I agree. 100%. And that's why I said, can they win this game? Yeah, they can. They can. But with what we've seen is that the Cardinals are inconsistent. So can the inconsistent be the Cardinals are going to be really good on Monday? Yeah, probably. Right? Can our defense show up? Yeah, probably. But it's a big game. It is. It's a big game for Kyler. It's a big game for this Cardinals organization. It's a big game for 2024. You can't get too far down. You cannot get too far down. You got to win this game. My guy on the chat says Budda is going to have a good game. He always shines on primetime. Well, I mean, this conversation isn't about Budda Baker is Budda Baker. Budda Baker is great. We like Budda, right? Yeah, this is no knock on Budda. The seller tagline, the seller storyline is all based off of the trade deadline's coming around very, very soon. Less than 3 weeks away right now. Less than 3 weeks away. You know, if the Cardinals are finding themselves at 2-5, then we're having different conversations. Can the Cardinals keep winning? Yes, they can. Have we seen teams start off at 1-4, 1-6, and turn it around? Yes, they can. But one thing that I've seen and one thing that I've heard is that the Arizona Cardinals organization is doing what the Lions did. This is year 2 Lions rebuild, Mike. You got to have patience. Let me ask you, chat. Is this year 2 Lions rebuild of what we've seen so far? Let me know, honestly. Your thought. If you still think that this is a rebuild like Lions rebuild year 2, let me know in the chat. Do you have the confidence? Do you have that faith in this organization that that's exactly what they're trying to emulate? And that means 8-8, or I guess 8 wins, right? Not 8-8 anymore. There's 17 games now. Do you think that that's what the Cardinals are doing this year? Because that Lions team did start off really bad, and they got a lot of wins at the end. Brandon says, year 2 Lions didn't get blown out twice. Okay. Andrew says, no, this is a true Cardinals rebuild. That's funny. Okay. I see what you mean there. Okay. Okay, we got Caesar. Okay, here we go. We got some positivity. Okay. It's not just doom and gloom with my guy. Okay, I see you, Caesar. We didn't get premium players. Richie says maybe. Okay, still too early to tell. Okay. Jing, I'm not even going to try to butcher this. I'm going to call you 1395. Appreciate you. Yes, just like the Lions were building for 30 years. Yeah, that's funny. Okay. Wow. So not even, okay. I was talking about the modern Lions. I'm sorry. I should have been very, very clear. But that's funny. Just like the Lions have been rebuilding for all the years before they finally got it right. That's funny. Okay. This NFC, the only thing that we got going for us, and I'm going to be really honest with you guys, the best thing that we got going for us right now in the NFC West is that our number 1 division leader in the San Francisco 49ers are 3-3. That's the best thing we got going for us. If the Cardinals somehow find a way to win versus the Chargers, then we're talking about a different conversation, right? Because I've said this before, 1 win can shoot you up to either first place, second place, third place in the division like this from 4. Now, right now, the Cardinals are not at 4. We're not. We're at 3. So we don't also want to allow the Rams, which are waiting for themselves to get very, very healthy, because they got a really good team once they're healthy. They really do. Their offense can be very, very dynamite, and we've seen it. It's not like, oh, we're projecting. No, their team can be very, very good if they can get healthy again. So what we're trying to do is obviously make sure that the Arizona Cardinals can get healthy and figure out what these inconsistent woes that we're consistently dealing with in a week-to-week basis. That's the only thing we got going for us right now, because if the 49ers were 5-0 right now, which they probably, I mean, then we would have been 1-5 if that was the case, but I digress. That's the only thing we got going for us right now, is that the division is weak. This NFC West is not NFC best this year. No, not at all. The best division right now in the NFC is probably the North. And they are good. They look really, really, really good. The East is in shambles, just like us. The North right now seems to be that high caliber. The South, they're better. They're better than I thought they would, honestly. The South is better. Kirk Cousins, he's doing good, man. Good for him. Baker Mayfield. Good for him. Reviving his career with a different team. Good for him. It's the only thing we got going for us right now is that the 49ers cannot get it right, but they don't have Christian McCaffrey. He might be coming back sooner rather than later. So there's that going for them as well. The NFC West right now is not the NFC best this year. That's the only thing we got going for us. So prime time versus the Chargers is coming our way. We got Jim Harbaugh, not John, Jim Harbaugh coming into State Farm Stadium. Can the Cardinals turn it around? Because so far we got 2 wins in the season. We are 1-2 at home this year. Is that right? 1-2 at home this year? I think that's right. Can we go 2-2 or 2-2? I mean, history tells us no. But any given Sunday, any given Monday, let's see what happens here. The guy in the chat says white unis for the win. Let's see. Brandon says we choose our black uniforms for a must-win game. It's like a bad omen. I love the black uniforms. I really do. It's just we'd never have good luck with those black uniforms at all. I think that it's never a good thing when we wear those black uniforms for sure. Good comment here. We got my guy J.H. Cornelio. Let me bring you up here. It says Lions and Texans already better in their rebuilds. Yeah. 100%. Absolutely. The rebuild of what the Texans have done when they got themselves a quarterback like that, they've already turned into a playoff team. Like that. Lions, Final Four last year. They were 8-8 the year prior. Man, they're trending in the right direction. The Cardinals, if we lose on Monday night, and like I said, it depends on how we lose. It depends on how we win, too. But there's a lot of eyes that's going to be shifted into this trade deadline for a potential maybe being sellers. Here's the thing. Like, even if the Cardinals are 4-4, do you see the Cardinals being buyers? I don't know. I don't know what Monty's doing. I really don't. I really don't know what Monty Ossenford is doing. It's crazy to me. It really is. I don't understand. This has to be Michael Bidwell. It has to be. It's crazy to me. Like, if we find ourselves 4-4, of course, we're talking about a completely different, or we're talking about a different team, and then we're back on top, right? If we're 4-4. But like I said, a win can either be 2-5 or 3-4, trending in the right direction to potentially be 4-4. So let's see what happens. I don't know why. Well, actually, I guess I do know why, right? It's probably Michael Bidwell, but I don't know why this organization in front office is not more aggressive in trying to fix this line. But we're bringing in players. We're bringing in players, ladies and gentlemen. We brought in Ronnie Perkins and signed him to the practice squad. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Super Bowl run, ladies and gentlemen. All right. We're going to close up shop. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Absolutely appreciate you guys for coming through. Obviously, Monday Night Football, we got... 4 more days. Sorry, I had to do math on live. 4 more days to our Monday Night Football game. I just hope I hope the Arizona Cardinals can get this right because man, oh man, oh man. Not try to start off Tuesday morning and talking about the 2-5 Arizona Cardinals. I'd rather be talking about the 3-4 Arizona Cardinals. But let's see what happens here moving forward. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to every one of you guys. I will see you tomorrow at the 12 o'clock hour. Appreciate y'all again. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Cardinals.